3. What is up, fight fans? Glove Talk live episode number 11. My boy Jose is down here in Florida for the one time.
Made it down land free.
So we're gonna go over fights that happened last night for the Spivak versus the Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes card, and we're gonna talk about the next Song Yadong versus Ricky Simon. So let's get into it. So the first fight you had Brady Highstand getting the win over Donna. Good fight, getting the KO, TKO win in round 3, coming back in the fight.
Yeah, really, really good fight. And coming into this, I like Donna a lot. Really strong. Those Mongolian guys are just, beefy, big, bro. It turns like for their weight class. But no, Bray Hyson, man, did what he had to do. Yeah, he did what he had to do. I mean, the way
did he come off the Contender Series or Tough?
Contender Series, I'm pretty sure.
So, he's a nice guy. He reminds me of that South African kid.
Oh, Simon.
Simon,
yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys, like, I love it. Especially at bantamweight, man. It's like we've been saying the last few episodes, bantamweight is the best division in the UFC, by far. I mean, the prospects they got coming up, the top, the division as well. Like, I love it. I love it for sure. Good fight. Good way to start the card as well.
Yeah, I mean, fight that was a lot better than Usman's brothers fight. So,
which we'll get to. Yeah.
We got Francis Marshall, coming out of the United States, fighting the French William Gomez. Getting the split decision win over him. That's a featherweight W. It was a pretty close fight. Split, I think that's about right. I know it could have went either ways, and on my scorecard as well. So
it was kind of the same as like Gomez's debut fight when he fought in Paris on the Cyril Gane card. Gomez trains out of MMA Factory in Paris. Fernando Lopez coach. And Gomez, like, for featherweight, he's so big, man. He's just long, just rangy. Got a ton of potential in that weight class. I just think for him, like, these close fights don't look good on him. Like, yeah, he's winning, but
he's probably got to chase the finish a lot more. He's probably got to chase more finishes instead of trying to point fight.
Yeah, and he's a great striker. He's flashy. He can lay the leather down. It's just, like, it's one of those things where with William Gomez, I think you're kind of left with his fights just expecting more. You want more out of him. And I think he can get up to that level, but that's something that, hey, we'll have to see. I think split decision definitely was the right one. This fight was extremely close. But, yeah, no, William Gomez, man, definitely one to watch out for the future. I think he's got big stuff ahead of him if he puts it together.
Yep. And then the next fight, if you look at the stats, it would kind of doesn't reflect how the fight really went. You have Usman's brother, Muhammad Usman, fighting against Junior Tafa, who also has a brother in UFC.
Justin Tafa, yeah.
Junior Tafa, known kickboxer, and he looked like he was going to finish Muhammad a couple times out there in the first round. Muhammad then went to his clinch work, he went to his grappling, and ended up, pulling out a win that I think he deserves a win, but also shows where he's lacking in striking and also his finishing when it comes to wrestling as well. So
I think a lot of Muhammad Usman's top game on the ground wasn't offensive. Like, he just laid on him. Didn't really chase a finish.
Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, basically, bro, like it's Bilal Muhammad all over again. I think for Junior Tafa, man, he kind of reminds me of like his brother and like Tai Tuivasa, where on the ground, but when they standing up, like he was cracking Muhammad Usman, and like, Muhammad Usman, man, definitely not his brother. I don't think he ever will be. Definitely drug test him though. That man's definitely not natural. There's no way in hell Muhammad Usman's natural. Bro has like 5 necks and the shoulders of TJ Dillashaw. So drug test him, man. I think this kind of shows like there's levels to it. If you put him up against like even a Curtis Blaydes or a Pavlovich, Muhammad Usman gets killed in a round.
Yeah. And I think for Junior Tafa, he looks like he could probably cut more weight. It looks like he could be a light heavyweight, low key. I think, pull the Chris Dawkins and go down to light heavyweight. Yeah. Pull the guy Tanner Bozer, I think he needs to pull one of those and go down because I don't think he's a heavyweight.
I just think for these like Samoan Australian guys, it's kind of tough for them to like cut more weight than what they already do, for him, because they're big boys, for sure.
But he looks like he's not chiseled, so he definitely can cut more weight. But
my shit froze.
Going on to the next fight, we have Cara Rosa versus Norma Dumont. Dumont getting the win. I think Cara Rosa won this fight, in my opinion. She seemed like she was, winning most of the engagements, but hey, they gave it to Norma. They want her to fight Amanda next, so.
Yeah, Norma Dumont was one of those girls that got brought into the UFC to kind of try to fill out the featherweight division in women's, which has had like what 3 fights in the
Yeah.
last year. It's a division that doesn't get much action. Amanda hasn't been forced to defend the title because they have no one to give to her, and it's a division that they made not for Amanda but for Cyborg when Cyborg was there.
Yeah.
So I think Norma Dumont at this point, it's just they're gonna have Amanda fight the best they can find in that class because she's coming off what 2 fights with Juliana. It's gonna be three fights with Juliana. They have to have her defend the belt because they can't do a Shevchenko fight because Valentina lost. So I mean, Norma Dumont, she looked okay. She's big. She's got good striking. It's just I just feel like Amanda Nunes is first like greatest women of all time in MMA history. Levels to it, man.
Yeah, and that her losing to Juliana really slowed down the division because I think, her beating Juliana, then they bring in Kayla Harris,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, but hey, happens.
Which offers a question: if they do the Norma's going to get offered as a sacrificial lamb to Amanda Nunes, right? Let's say Amanda Nunes wins, which she probably will. Then it opens up Kayla Harrison coming to the UFC.
And Kayla Harris has to win her fight. She has to get her rematch in the PFL, I think.
Yeah, because she lost that fight pretty convincingly last time. So a lot of variables here. But I think the interesting when you see women's featherweight, it definitely has title implications for it, which is weird that weight class is so thin. I don't know because Aspen Ladd, even though she lost in PFL, that's one of the reasons she left. She couldn't make 135, but they didn't have her fight 145 for some reason. So this is what it is.
And then next fight you have the jiu-jitsu guy Ronnie Yan. How do you say his last
Ronnie
name?
Yaha.
Versus Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson getting the finish. Montel Jackson looked like he wanted to kill him and take his head off. Huh? This was at bantamweight, 135.
Ronnie Yaha looks like a flyweight. Against Montel Jackson, like he would throw a combination and he'd be a foot away from even touching Montel Jackson. Then Montel Jackson throws a jab and he's just like forearm in Ronnie Yaha's face.
And I liked how he didn't rush. He didn't rush anything. He knew he was way better with the hands, but he didn't rush and then end up getting taken down. And the one time that Ronnie did get to his legs, he was able to stay up. He was able to reverse the position and then get up and finish him. So Montel Jackson looking good here. He's another one of these guys that he has a lot of potential, but he has to string together, some more skills and some more wins here.
Yeah, I just think the fight, like again, Ronnie Yaha, every time he threw a punch, he didn't touch Montel Jackson because he just was so much smaller than him that like nowhere near getting close to him. Definitely, you could tell there was like some ring rust or something going on. Ronnie Yaha, he did not look like he was in the fight. Even when he tried to take him down, he looked defeated when just trying to grab onto his leg and see what he could salvage out of it. But I mean, it's a good win for Montel Jackson. I think Ronnie Yaha is probably at the end of his UFC run after this. It did not look good last night at all, and he hasn't really fought that much lately. So I mean, it is what it is. Montel Jackson did what he had to do. So good. He looked good. He looked really good.
Then we had Christos Giagos getting the win against Ricky Glenn in KO, first round. I don't know. It seemed like he was ready to go in there and get the finish, and he got it done pretty quickly. I mean, ended up getting performance in the night, so he ends up enjoying the 50 Gs, and he gets a performance award. I don't know. I don't really like Ricky Glenn. He doesn't really impress me too much in any of his fights.
He fought really slow. Ricky Glenn did. Like he just looked like he didn't get it going ever. And then he protested the finish, which was hilarious because, like, bro, you face planted.
Yeah.
It's over.
There's a couple protests this card. And
yeah, we'll see it with the Brad Tavares fight later on. Same thing where it's like, bro, you're done. Like, you were done, bro. And especially with Glenn, like, he got smoked with that left hook and just went head first into the canvas. Like, you're not recovering from that,
Especially when you see somebody going head first, like, they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
You don't really recover from going face first that much. Sometimes they go face first and them hitting the ground wakes them up.
Yeah. No, and I think that's what happened with Glenn, where that's why he got up so quick after, was because, like, he hit the ground and kind of woke him up or whatever. But, like, I don't know, man. I mean, Giagos looked good. That was some really solid striking. He definitely controlled the octagon, did what he had to do. And Glenn just looked like he was just waiting for a counter punch. But even if he would have thrown it, it would have taken 10 years to land. He just looked very slow last night. Like,
then we're going to jump into the main card. We got Jeremiah Wells beating the guy that I like.
Daniel Gracie guy,
Matthew
Jeremiah Wells.
Taking the L. But he looked like he was going to get the finish in the first round, and then it seemed like he, burnt himself out a little bit. And then Jeremiah Wells learned that he was better on the top. He was better in the grappling positions and ended up just wrestling him up the rest of the fight. Semmelsberger seemed like he had no answer to being on his back. besides the end, he got up a little bit and then he tried to do a little bit of damage, but it was a little bit too late for that.
So yeah, Jeremiah Wells, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under the master Daniel Gracie. Got to get the black belt to my coaches, Cody and Miguel. Miguel's got a brown, but still Daniel Gracie. Shout out to him in the corner, Jeremiah Wells, and you can tell that game plan they changed, where he got caught in the beginning of the fight, and then after that he just relied on his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu afterwards, and it won him the fight. Because I think for Smallsberger, like, he was going for triangles on the ground that he wasn't gonna hit. If you're gonna get someone a triangle, you can't set it up that obvious. You have to kind of catch someone and make them, throw a punch or something where you set it up, but you also catch them in the moment. And I think for him, like, Jeremiah Wells stayed composed. Those takedowns were nasty. I think Smallsberger could have won this fight 100%. He just, like you said, he burned himself out.
And I think it doesn't ruin his stock completely. I still think he's a guy that you look out for in a welterweight. Just because he's so big for that weight class. He's such a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds, he's like a Yuri of welterweight. I don't know. He's awkward with his striking a little bit, but Jeremiah Wells getting the win. So,
and he's now 14-2, 12-2, something like that. Like,
yeah.
he looks 6-fight win streak now. He's looking good. He's huge, man.
I think he wanted to strike with him at first to try to prove a point, and then I think he realized where he was better off getting the dub at. So
yeah, and like look at Daniel Gracie, like the stock of fighters he has now. Like Paul Felder was one of them. Brendan Allen, the guy he's in the corner with. Jeremiah Wells, like Sean Brady, another Daniel Gracie guy. So like, Daniel Gracie out of Philly, kind of low-key producing all these guys, that definitely showing their stock. I think for Jeremiah Wells, I did not expect his jiu-jitsu to be that good. He surprised me yesterday. So yeah, man, I think definitely try to get him a lower ranked fight at this point, welterweight, see what he does with it.
Then you had Brogan Walker, the girl who lost in the Ultimate Fighter against Juliana Miller, fighting this. I think she's the youngest female fighter. She the youngest?
Yeah, Jasmine Lucindo, yeah, youngest one.
Lucindo getting the win here. I'm thinking she should have chased the finisher more because she had so many opportunities to finish her. Brogan, whatever, however you say her name, she was only throwing kicks and she was trying to get the fight to the ground, but she never could get it to the ground. And she was throwing nothing that was really making Lucindo respect her. So Lucindo was just walking her down, throwing like a combination of 4, which I really think she could have strung together like combinations of 8 or 10 and 12 and finished her. But
Lucindo kind of reminds me of like Tasmanian Devil. Like once she starts going, like it's so hard to get her to stop. She just forward pressure, kind of like Denise Gomes a few weeks ago, kind of like that, where they're a little shorter, but like they got power in those hands. And she ended up cutting Brogan Walker as well. I think Brogan Walker, like, at the end of the day, you got to rely on what you're good at. And for her, it's the ground game, but she didn't go there. Like, she couldn't
set up any takedowns.
She couldn't, no.
Because she was on her back foot throwing kicks,
And they weren't even effective kicks. They were more like kicks where she would stop
halfway. They were
distance kicks, or she would throw and stop halfway.
Yeah.
Because Lucindo would be at a range. And I think, like, if you're effectively going to set up your offense, like, obviously throw feints, like, whatever. But also, like, make sure, like, when you're in range, we'll get to the Ryan Garcia tank fight, but it's kind of like that yesterday, where it's, if you're in range, don't just stand there. Like, once you're in range, that's your opportunity to attack. If you're out of range, get yourself in range and stop throwing stupid stuff. I think that was her problem, where when she was throwing those lazy kicks to try to find range, she was so far out, Lucindo would just blitz her every time and catch her. And I think that's the problem with these, like, shorter fighters, man, whether it's, like, Volkanovski, Lucindo, Denise Gomes, Dominic Cruz is like this, too, where they might be smaller than you, bro, but, like, Cejudo the same way. They might be smaller than you, but once you let them get in your range, get on the inside, it's GG's. They're just going to blitz you every time. And you're not going to be able to hit them on the way out. Your arm's out here. Their head and their arms are right there in your chest, bro, doing whatever they want. So,
And to be able to throw feints, you also need to be able to have some type of shots that actually the person respects. Because Lucindo, Walker was throwing a little bit of feints, but Lucindo was just standing there ready to go in the pocket because she didn't respect her. She was willing to stand in there and bang. So to be able to throw feints, you actually have to throw shots in there as well that makes them respect you, so that you can give them reacting to your feints. Then we had the no contest between Bobby Green and Jared Gordon. Bobby Green went to throw an elbow and ended up headbutting him and dropped him. And then he was still kind of in there because he tried to throw up his legs for a triangle. But then Bobby Green, putting him out with some ground and pound. But it ended up being a no contest because the ref seen that You know, he was on the ground because of a headbutt. So
Shout out Jared Gordon's wife, by the way.
yeah,
Louder than the
bro. They need to
commentary
stop bringing their
team.
wives to the fight, bro. I'm tired of hearing them screaming in the background, like
Louder than the commentary team, man.
for real. Let's go, Jared.
I mean, Bobby Green was winning that fight before that, for being
Yeah, it
honest.
looked like Bobby Green was gonna get a finish. Honestly,
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, ever since the Islam, even before the Islam fight, but especially after he's looking better every
yeah,
time
he
in the
is.
octagon. And I think, now he's changed his name to King Green, whatever. Faked us with the retirement. But, like, I think Bobby Green, like, I think he has the potential to kind of have a Jorge Masvidal arc, where he just needs that one big moment where he's so marketable that once he gets that, everybody's just gonna hop on board him, and he's gonna make his money and then ride out his career or whatever.
I feel like he needs to go down a weight class.
I think at 145 would be a demon.
I feel like he'd be so good at 145. I feel like lightweight they're just a little too big for him.
Like, I think striking wise, imagine a fight like him against Arnold Allen or him against Holloway. Like, I'm not saying he would win these fights, but like
Him and Holloway would be a great fight.
he's such a good striker that he's like fighting a guy like Islam. Islam was already is big for 155. On top of the wrestling, like that's just a mismatch in general. Whereas like Bobby Green fights at 145, that's more his size.
And it was late notice.
And it was like, if he fights at like 145, those are guys like more his size, like a Giga Chikadze, Calvin Cater, these guys like.
Him versus Calvin Cater would be fire.
I would love to see these fights. But I think for Bobby Green, like nobody knows what he's gonna do because it's Bobby Green. He doesn't even know what he's gonna do. We'll see, man. I mean, I definitely think 145 would be a terrific move for him, but I think he definitely wants to make it at 155, especially seeing how close he was with the Islam fight and stuff. Like,
Then we had Bruno Silva finishing Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares, supposed to be known as one of these, talented middleweights that came in with this certain class of middleweights.
The Kelvin Gaslams and all that, yeah.
But he ends up being one of the guys that ends up not doing too good in the UFC.
His chin doesn't move. He kept his head on the center line the whole time, and like
respected Bruno Silva though. Bruno Silva was willing to go in there and throw.
And the thing is, Bruno Silva's a kickboxer, and he was fighting like one. And like Bruno Silva, like Tavares couldn't get Silva to respect his power, so Silva just stayed in the pocket. And every time he throw like overhand, Tavares' chin was right there every time. And I think, listen, Brad Tavares is a veteran, man. At one point, he was a hot commodity, a middleweight, like him, Calvin Gastelum, that class of like mid 2010s middleweights. I think Brett Tavares, like, it's getting close to that time, man. He's like, 35, 36 now. I don't think he's ever going to be contending again.
He doesn't fight like a Aussie. He's not from.
No, he's Hawaiian. He's Hawaiian. Yeah, he's Hawaiian. I don't think he's going to contend anymore at middleweight. And for Bruno Silva, I want to see more Bruno Silva. He looks solid.
Yeah, it seemed like even his stance was more of a kickboxing stance. It seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the main event. We had Sergey Pavlovich sending Curtis Blaydes to the shadow realm in round one. Curtis Blaydes not really, throwing the jab, but not throwing any takedowns. Ends up making him lose the fight. Sergey's a demon.
I'm gonna call out a fellow podcast that I enjoyed listening to, watching the Morning Combat with Campbell and Thomas and all those guys. Listen, when y'all said that Curtis Blaydes would be the most difficult fight for John Jones at heavyweight, I need you to apologize right now.
We said the same thing, though.
No, and that's the thing. This is me saying my bad as well. We all need to say my bad. Because listen, Curtis Blaydes is terrific, right? But he gets caught way too much for my liking on the feet, bro. He can throw hands, but he cannot defend.
No defense.
And Sergey Pavlovich is like a sniper. But he's like a sniper with a machine gun. It's weird. Like, everything he throws hits something. And it doesn't even have to be for power, but it's gonna make you respect it. And like, Curtis Blaydes cannot get in a rhythm. The one time he shot a takedown was kind of like a Kamaru Usman takedown where he just bent over and then didn't really shoot for it. Like, Pavlovich looks better and better every single fight. I think he's kind of like the Hamza arc. He still needs a fight that kind of puts him in deep water so we can see how he reacts. Because
he needs that Gilbert Burns fight.
Exactly. And I think that Gilbert Burns fight for him is probably John Jones eventually. Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think Pavlovich wins that fight. But the same way I don't think Curtis Blaydes would have won that fight either. John Jones is a different level. But I think that for Sergey Pavlovich, not to take away from his performance last night, he did a great job. He nullified one of the top heavyweights in the world. But That's what's next for him. That's what's next for him. Because if Stipe beats Jan, he's retiring.
You got Francis out here trying to do boxing. I think Sergey could really go and do boxing.
100%. Because the thing is, Ngannou wanted to do boxing. It's not just about power. Deontay Wilder showed us that. It's not just about power. Like, you have to have accuracy. You have to, like, Sergey Pavlovich, bro, moves like a middleweight, and he's a heavyweight. That's unfair.
With his hands.
That's why Curtis Blaydes can get a read on the takedowns, because the hands, but also like Pavlovich's feet, he was in and out, in and out.
Imagine if he learns how to throw like calf kicks.
Demon, bro.
Because he could throw. He would be throw some killer calf kicks. Honestly.
No, 100%. I think for Curtis Blaydes, like, the next fight's probably gonna have to be Tai Tuivasa up there. There's not that many fights you can make for him at heavyweight right now.
Or Tom Aspinall.
Or Tom Aspinall, when Tom Aspinall ever comes back, but nobody knows when that's happening. I mean, I think Tom Aspinall probably is the more logical one, though. Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blaydes. And then for Pavlovich, he just has to sit and wait. But it's honestly probably going to be like almost a year wait from now.
They're not going to do that fight till like, I think they're trying to do the John Jones and Conor card together.
Yeah, they're shooting for that November, October-ish.
But hey, Conor's still not in the USADA pool.
Yeah, that whole situation as well. I mean, as we transition away from this card, shout out Dana announced like 50 million fights this week. All 5-round main events
shout
as well.
Shout out to Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad for, making a statement. Do you think, hey, let me ask you this. Do you think they made a statement enough to surpass Kobe for the fight?
So here's the thing. It's a 5-round co-main because Kobe's already booked with Leon. Even though they haven't announced it, Kobe is booked with Leon, right? I don't think they surpassed Kobe, but they've solidified where this is the number one contender fight for whoever wins the Kobe-Leon fight. I think the pressure is more on Leon Edwards, though. Because Leon has to beat Kobe, but then he has to turn around and fight 3-4 months later.
Yeah.
Or else. Because then they can just be like, oh, interim champ.
Well, I think Kobe, if he wins, he fights right away anyway.
Yeah. I think if Kobe wins, he definitely would fight right away. And I think, I think Gilbert Burns beats Bilal Muhammad in my opinion. And I think a Gilbert Burns versus Kobe fight sells.
That's a crazy matchup as well.
It is, and it'd be terrific. And I think for Bilal,
or Kobe, they might, even if Kobe wins the belt, they might throw Hamzat at him, bro.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Hamzat's still up at 185 now. He's
willing to go down. He's still in the rankings.
Yeah, they won't let him though. That's a problem. The UFC already said they won't let him. I want to see that, but that brings us to another fight I got now. Dricus Du Plessis versus Robert Whitaker, 185.
Shout out to Rob Whitaker
for the number one contender shot. But
is it?
Yeah,
because they have Jared versus Vettori though too.
Nope. Du Plessis versus Whitaker is going to be for the title shot.
I mean, you would think, but I'm saying
no. They announced it. It's going to be for the title.
That fight's boring, and then Jared and Vettori, something crazy happens. Like
they already says Du Plessis Whitaker. Whoever wins that, that's why.
So say Whitaker wins.
Yeah.
You rather watch Whitaker fight Izzy? Well, would it be the 4th time versus Jared fight him the 2nd time?
Well, this is what Izzy said. Izzy literally tweeted, "Please win" to Dricus Du Plessis, which isn't going to happen if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Whitaker's probably going to win that fight, and it's a stranglehold in the division. I don't understand why the UFC did it. I don't understand why Hamzat didn't get booked in all this, because if you're going to book Vettori and Cannonier, you're going to book Du Plessis and Whitaker. It's probably going to be Paulo Costa versus Hamzat.
So, they all could earn a title shot.
They all could, but the one that's already, solidified as a title shot is Du Plessis Whitaker, which means, Adesanya is going to be out at least 6-8 months?
He said he was pretty frequent.
Yeah, but he just regained the belt. So,
he came back kind of soon from a knockout, too, though.
Yeah.
So
This what I think what the UFC is planning is, have Izzy defend the belt a couple of times 185, have Pereira try and win at 205, do the trilogy up at 205 for the belt. So those fights got announced. Beneil and Oliveira got moved to the Nunes Pena card in Vancouver.
I think after this next fight, Izzy goes up to 205. Because I think him versus Jamal or him versus Yuri still sells just as big as him versus Pereira.
Versus Yuri would be insane.
They make Pereira have to fight him to get the belt at 205.
I want to see... So I know they're going to do Yuri versus Jamal, but on the off chance that Yuri gets injured, give me Pereira versus Jamal Hill, man. Those guys are big.
I think Pereira needs to get a fight in 205
and that's
first.
what Dana said. Dana said that Pereira's gonna need a fighter too. Be some real guys.
Give
at
him
205.
Dominic Reyes, retired Dominic Reyes.
All right.
Then give him like
Give him Krylov.
no, actually give him OSP, bro. Get him OSP out of here, bro,
Get the
please.
hell out of here.
Get OSP
Get
out
out
of here, please.
bro. Oh,
Make us Haitians look bad, bro.
bro, I'd say give him Krylov to start off at 205 or Ryan Spann.
No, you can't. Oh, give him Ryan Spann. Yeah,
because
you can't give him Kurlov. Kurlov's just gonna wrestle him.
Yeah.
You can't give him a wrestler. That's the thing with Pereira. He's got a lot of fans and he's a good fighter, but he's got a big hole in his game, especially at 205. At 205, come on now.
Imagine like Jimmy Crew trying to take him down.
Yeah.
Or Anthony. Much I hate saying this. Anthony Smith taking down Pereira.
I might be pushing it.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
That might be. Then we got the next card. It was supposed to be Mukano versus Arman Tsuzukian, and it gets rebooked to be Song Yadong versus Ricky Simon, which was supposed to be on this card that was Saturday, which we was already talking about, which we already said is a potential fight of the year. So
yeah, and it's gonna be a 5-round now.
I'm not mad about it being a headliner. You know,
I love it's gonna be a 5-round fight.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of blood.
I like both these fighters. You know, and I like Caio Barrio. How you say his name? Barrio.
Oh, Caio
Barrio versus, and then the Polish boxer.
What's his face?
Olensky.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, how you say the name, whatever, Mikhail, or you guys know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's cold.
I like Caio. Caio reminds me of like a young Paulo Costa.
Kyle's good. The Polish guy's good with his boxing, but he's just got to get more of a round MMA game.
Oh, Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker got booked as well. I forgot about that.
I mean, that was supposed to have been rebooked multiple times.
Is that the fight that retires Dan Hooker?
I don't know, because he be switching weight classes too much.
Yeah.
He might just decide to switch weight class again. Which I don't see why he could fight at 170. He doesn't look healthy at 155.
He looks too drained out. A lot of that happened this weekend, but we'll get to that eventually.
Julian Arosa's on the card. Natan Levy.
I like Natan Levy.
Israel.
I like Natan Levy. These Israeli fighters coming up are demons, man.
Charles Johnson.
Yeah.
He's a hit or miss. Brian Kelleher.
Brian Kelleher's... He's good. He's just kind of corny sometimes.
So you got in the main event, Song Yadong versus Ricky Simon. Number 10 ranked versus number 8 ranked.
I think
this fight, I think the winner of this fight can probably get a fight against like Cheeto or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think bantamweight's weird right now, man. I think
bantamweight's too stacked.
I think Ricky Simone wins this fight because I love Song Yadong, but I think Ricky Simone, just the veteran skill inside of him is just gonna kind of be the advantage here. I think Ricky Simone has fought absolute demons at 135, and not that Song Yadong hasn't. He fought Corey Sandhagen, but I think Song Yadong still got a little bit left to grow in before he gets to that point. It's just tough though, because 135 you got Corey Sandhagen's got to wait for whatever the hell happens with Aljo Cejudo.
They need to just book him and O'Malley, bro. I don't get how O'Malley.
Yeah, but then those two got to wait for whatever the hell is gonna happen with Merab as well, because.
Well, not if Aljo wins.
Well, yeah. Well, if Aljo wins, Merab's not fighting Aljo.
Yeah, Aljo's gonna go up.
Here's what I think. I think if either Aljo or Cejudo win, they're gonna want to fight Volk.
Yeah.
Because Aljo wants to go up anyway. So then you just do an interim title shot against, I don't know, Sean O'Malley against Merab.
I don't think it'll be interim because he's not gonna come back down.
Interim because he's gonna do a double belt and then drop it. It looks better on the resume. That's why.
Yeah, I just don't know.
It's a weird division.
I don't know if the UFC likes Aljo enough to give him the Volk fight. They don't just because you're a champion don't mean you get to do the double champ. You got to be a dominant champion.
No, I agree.
And I don't think he's been a dominant champion yet. I don't look at all these guys.
But if he beats Cejudo, he has a good argument to be like, hey, which he won't. He won't beat Cejudo.
I don't know though. Does he? Because he got a win over Jan, a win over injured TJ Dillashaw.
That's it.
And then a fighter who hasn't fought in years.
Yeah.
I don't think you give him a double belt from that.
Yep.
I think he has to fight. You can give him a fight against a top contender, like let him fight, give him like an Arnold Allen or something. Beats Arnold Allen, then give him a title shot.
Mm-hmm. I think he has to vacate at that point though, because
Yeah, he's gonna have to, bro, because
You can't hold up 135.
He wants his friend to be a champion, so he's not gonna hold that belt.
Right. Which again, then it's probably gonna be what, Merab versus Sean or Merab versus Corey.
Sean and Corey have to fight, bro. That's what I'm saying. Corey, I mean, they're probably gonna say Sean because he has a win over Jan. Corey has a loss over Jan,
and then Merab has a win over Jan as well. So
yeah, so I don't know. I would say I think Corey and Sean have to fight, but they like Sean O'Malley, so they're gonna probably give him the title shot. But I don't know. And then you got Rob Font who's getting the win, so Rob Font needs one of these guys to fight him too. So
stuff though, because like those guys are a little bit above Rob though. Rob's in a spot where he has to either fight Piotr Jan or fight down, rank wise.
Yeah, I think the Peter Yan fight's perfect. I mean,
yeah,
Corey, but Corey's probably gonna wait.
Right. Or Cheeto again. No, Cheeto. No, they already did that. That's the thing. Cheeto needs a fight too.
Cheeto's probably gonna fight the winner of Song, Ricky, or Pedro, and then Pedro Munoz also got to win against Chris Gutierrez, who, I mean, we all might not like Pedro Munoz that much, but I mean, Chris is no joke, so you got to give him.
Right.
You got to give him one of these top guys. Rob Font versus Pedro. Have they fought yet? Have they ever fought?
I don't think so.
So
They might have,
but the old guys who want one more chance, throw them in a fight together. Let them try.
I think bantamweight's so stacked right now. It's a mess. It's such a mess right now.
Yeah, you would wish that women's featherweight was like that, but it's not. It really is.
We're gonna talk about what happened last night, man.
Got Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. Tank Davis getting the finish with the body shot.
Nasty hook. I mean, thing is, so Tank technically left Mayweather Promotions this time with Leonard Ellerby, so same boat. But now Leonard Ellerby negotiated as the A side rehydration clause. So Ryan had to cut down to 135, and then fight night at 11. Both of them have to be at 145. Which is harder for Ryan than Tank, because Tank's smaller. Tank's used to fighting at that weight. This is the first time Ryan's weighed in at 135 in his career. And though they were going at it back and forth all week, the press conferences were great. De La Hoya was wearing some weird see-through shirt at the final one. Bernard Hopkins got into it with Tank. It was a lot of hype behind this fight, and the fight didn't disappoint. Ryan Garcia, he had his moments in the beginning of the fight where he was definitely winning, and then I think he got too confident, and like he threw that left hook when he put his hand down. Tank caught him, got his nose bleeding, knocked him down, and then after that, Ryan was just fighting scared the whole time. Like he didn't know where to block high or block low, and Tank was just doing whatever he wanted. And that hook at the end, oh my gosh, that body shot.
People that say that he really didn't get hit, I want to see y'all get hit in the body like that. I was like right in his ribs.
So that liver shot, man, your body goes static. You feel like everything's cramping when that happens. Like you could tell Ryan was wincing before he even took a knee. Like he was trying to shake it off, and it's like you just can't.
And you don't want to stand up when you're hurt like that because that's how you get knocked out.
Right, and that's the thing. Like Ryan could have stayed standing, but it's smarter for him to go down than to get knocked out when you can't properly defend yourself. And I think for Ryan Garcia, it kind of proves the point I've been saying for a long time. De La Hoya feeds his fighters easy fights, and then when they fight a real guy, they get exposed. We saw it with Canelo and Floyd. When Canelo fought Floyd, we saw Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now we see it with Ryan. Ryan's a good boxer, but bro, Tank's different.
Yeah, that straight left was fierce, and he wasn't circling to the right at all because he knew that Ryan was trying to throw that hook, so he was circling to the left. And he's willing to be an inch away from danger to be able to knock people out sometimes. Like the way he made Ryan miss that hook, and then his answer hook that dropped him, it was like it went right above his head. So I think he needs to fight Devin Haney next, though.
Which you didn't want to talk about.
I think Devin Haney's a little bit of a smarter fighter, and he's got like a full package. But hopefully this gets Terrence Crawford and Shakir Stevenson to fight.
I don't want I want Errol Spence and T-Bud. That's what I want. I want Errol Spence to Crawford. I don't think Shakur's earned that shot yet against Terrence Crawford.
Or one of them.
One of them got
and
fight.
I want to see the Benavidez.
Everybody's scared of Terrence Crawford. That's the problem. But then Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz got announced for July.
Yeah, I seen on Twitter that it was supposed to be Wilder again.
Yep.
So who wanted that fight?
Because they're doing like a heavyweight tournament. So the rumor, according to Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, terrific promoter by the way, Eddie Hearn was talking about the plan is Andrew Ruiz, Tyson Fury, and then do Joshua versus Wilder. And the winners of those two fights fight each other. And then Usyk somewhere in there, in that mix. I don't know what's going on with Usyk. If you hear about the negotiations and stuff with Usyk and Tyson, like, they were, like, Usyk signed off on a 70-30 for Tyson Fury. And Fury said no because some other stuff that Usyk was asking for. So, I mean, I like it, though. Andy Ruiz is a good matchup for Tyson Fury in terms of, like, Tyson's still going to win, but at least it's going to be a better fight than, like, the Dillian White fight.
Yeah.
Like, Andy's got a chin. Andy's, a big boy as well. But, like, Tyson Fury's Tyson Fury, bro. If we're being honest, if Muhammad Ali and Tyson Fury both fought in their primes, bro, you can't tell me with a straight face that one or the other would win. That's how good Tyson Fury is.
Skill for skill.
Skill for skill, bro. Like, this man, 270, moves around like a middleweight, and he's 6'9".
Yeah.
And, like,
he doesn't look like it.
He doesn't look like it. He looks like he's out of shape all the time. And this dude, it just the technique, like, it's just boxing. We're finally getting fights booked in boxing. Finally. It's taking a minute.
And they do the Benavidez versus Canelo.
Yeah, which Canelo's been ducking that for years now. For years.
It's a weird matchup for him, I feel like. Because he just got so much. He's got a lengthy ass arm.
And the thing is, Canelo's not interested in the Bivol rematch because Bivol pieced him up last time. That's why with Canelo, man. That's another thing. Like, bro, don't be ducking the fights. Don't be ducking the fights, bro.
Yeah,
like,
he fought Triple G again too late.
Yeah, in the first Triple G fight, he lost and they scored a draw. Like, that's boxing for you, though. And that was one thing where I think this Tank, if Tank and Ryan go to the cards, Tank would have won because commentary and everybody in the whole show was for Tank. Leonard Ellerby, Floyd Mayweather were there. It was going to be for Tank. But he did what he called it, 7-round knockout. He got it done. I think the part that scares him is if he fights Devin Haney, he won't be the A side. I think that's why he's kind of avoiding that. Because if Devin Haney gets control of the negotiations, like, one, you don't get the judges in your pocket. And two, you can't do no rehydration costs because you're trying to do undisputed titles. You're trying to unify the belts. Like, Devin Haney, you let him put back on weight, he's double.
Isn't he mandatory?
So it's not mandatory yet. No, Devin Haney has a mandatory booked already on May 20th.
Oh.
I forget against who. But after that, that's why Tank said we'll wait till May 20th to talk about this. But everybody knows Devin Haney's gonna win. It's Devin Haney. Like, bro's one of the best boxers in the world. Defense is nuts. And I think it's a horrible matchup for Tank, but that's what Tank gets for fighting bigger than his size.
Oh, wait. Devin Haney's fighting Lomachenko.
Yeah. Fight Lomachenko, which I think he wins that fight. Yeah. Like, Lomachenko's a great boxer, but he's also probably one of the most overrated boxers in the last 20 years.
Just because his one win over... Didn't he got a win over Teofimo?
No, Teofimo beat him.
Oh, yeah, who did he beat then? He beat... That's what...
He beat Rigondo. That's what he did. He beat Guillermo Rigondo because Rigondo was fighting injured, and they paid Rigondo a couple mil to fight the fight injured. That's why. And the thing with Lomachenko is a top-ranked boy. So Bob Arum's been just pumping money into him. That's his cash cow. That's why when Teofimo came, another top-ranked guy, beat the shit out of Lomachenko. Like, it was close, but he won that fight. I think Lomachenko's in a spot where now he's fighting these top guys, and it's like, how does he respond? Does he really show, like, I think Kambosos would have been a bad matchup for him. But I think Devin Haney, that's not going to be a good matchup for Lomachenko. Lomachenko's quick, but Devin Haney's defense, man, it don't matter how quick you are. Not touching him.
Yeah, and did you see the fight yesterday when they showed Pacquiao? Everybody was cheering. They showed Floyd. People started booing.
Yeah. No, I think, like, I know we're kind of diving into some deep history here, but Floyd Mayweather, yes, he fought the best of the best. Yes, he's undefeated. Some of the best defense in the world. But let's be honest, he lost twice. He lost to Jose Luis Castillo, and he lost to Marcos Maidana in the first fight. Which I wouldn't take it away. Guys lose in boxing all the time, but for him to say he's undefeated, I always bring that up. With Floyd as well, I think you look at Manny Pacquiao, he won a belt in 8 different weight classes. 8 weight classes. And he fought the best of the best. He fought Juan Manuel Marquez. He fought De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Berto. He fought Timothy Bradley. He beat Keith Thurman as well to regain the belt after he was already old. You know, he eventually did fight Floyd. And there was all this stuff where, like, Manny Pacquiao, Eric Morales, he fought Eric Morales too. Like, Manny Pacquiao really fought everyone and then avenged his losses every time. I think with Floyd, it's like a lot of the champs that he fought were past their prime. Like, De La Hoya was on the way out.
Early.
Ricky Hatton on the way out. Canelo, too early when he fought Canelo. Then he fought some nobodies in there, Robert Guerrero and stuff in between. Then he fought Pacquiao way too late, which was both sides. It was both sides. Take the blame on that. And he fought Conor McGregor.
Pacquiao could have just took the test.
Yeah, then he fought Conor McGregor, which, you know. And then listen, both those guys are great. I think there's a reason why Manny's a people's champion. Like, Manny would go back to the Philippines, give stuff out to the poor kids, was a politician, is still a politician in the Philippines. People love him. Floyd Mayweather, nobody love him in GR. Nobody love him in Vegas. They only love Floyd Mayweather at a strip club. Like, TMT's not an actual company. Floyd Mayweather Promotion is not a real thing. They don't have venues booked. They don't have anything. It's just a brand. It's a brand that works under Al Heyman and Leonard Ellerby and PBC Boxing. So Floyd Mayweather, his money comes and goes. It's just branding. That's all it is. All the money you pump into buying TMT and Floyd Mayweather stuff, he goes and spends in a strip club or in a car. He's not getting back to the community. He's not showing love back to the city that bred him. He doesn't have to. He's a free man. He can do whatever he wants. But that's why he gets all the booze. Which at the end of the day, Floyd don't care. So it's fine. It's whatever.
Well, I think we covered everything for this episode, of this live episode in Florida. My boy Jose going back home.
Back to the 30-degree weather.
We're going to get some grappling in, so maybe we'll post some clips. Nah, you don't want that smoke. But, you know what I'm saying? Like the video, show some love, share it, and let us know in the comments what you think. You know, she was going to win this Simon versus Song Yadong, because I don't know. I think it's 50-50, but I don't know.
I think we need to drug test Muhammad Usman. That's what I think.
I think we need to drug test the judges.
That too. But Muhammad Usman looks like the Thing from Fantastic Four. Bro's head looked like he could break coconuts with if he headbutt, bro. How are you that big?
He can bite coconuts.
You know what's crazy? I need to find out. Like, Jeremiah Wells, I love you, dog. But do you and Muhammad Usman have the same dentist, bro? Because, like, both of y'all look like the lizard from Amazing Spider-Man, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You just taking this time to roast? All right. Subscribe, like the video.
Go Talk Podcast.
See y'all for episode 12.